Hey everybody, welcome back to Bonus Points. Where I'm taking you back for like a good 15 years here to one of my favorite games when I was in high school growing up, Tony Hawk American Wasteland. This is part of the Underground series. It's like a trilogy of games, like as far as Underground 2 and American Wasteland, which to me they're my top three favorite Tony Hawk games. I know everybody starts to kind of hate the series at Underground, and it doesn't really bother me much. I enjoyed Underground because I felt like it was more close to how just to how skateboarding is. And I know everybody just wants to spend their time doing the score challenges and stuff like that for Tony Hawk's 1 and 2. But we're going to pick our guy here. We're going to pick the mullet dude here with the Baker skateboard. I'm just going to talk, like, a lot of this is going to be what I remember about this game and what I remember about skating in high school. And just like being part of that. I mean, I was kind of a part of what I would call like the big comeback for skating. I mean, skating to me kind of made like this huge comeback when I was like late middle school, and it was probably about the time that CKY and Jackass started coming out. Well, CKY was already out. But Jackass started making it big, and then once all these guys that were on Jackass, BAM started, you just see all these guys that it's like, oh, hey, this guy writes for this, and the next thing you know, it's like it blew up. As far as, just, guys that you've seen those videos, and then all of a sudden you're watching the tapes, there's some new pros in this game, guys that making their first appearance. I believe Daewon Song makes his first appearance in this game. I can't remember. He might have been in 4, but I don't think so. I think this might have been his first appearance. But we're from I think we're from the Midwest. These D-bags right here, they call me Kentucky. I kind of relate to this character mostly because I'm from the Midwest. I skated in the Midwest. I mean, it's I know Kentucky's not in the Midwest, but I mean, as far as like the country scenery goes, where are all hills and nothing, and it's just flat, and there's not hardly anything for miles around, that's just what I remember a lot about growing up and skating in Kansas. Golly, I used to just like I spent damn near every day after school on my board every summer until like senior year on my board. Golly, man, those were the days. Those were like the best days. I wish I could go back, But anyways, right now we'll get into that in a little bit. Right now, I'm going to customize my guy, and then I will be back. And we're back. All right, so this was me kind of like how I look now and how I skated when I was in high school. I always wore shorts and t-shirt. Yeah, golly, and the caveman. Okay, so this is like one of my actually like one of my favorite skateboard moves. This game combines a lot of old school skateboarding, like from the 80s, what I like, versus some of the newer stuff. And just like running and jumping off of things and landing. I mean, that was a lot of the thrill of it. But like I said, I spent like it seemed like every summer I spent all day, every day on my board, and it was so much fun. I used to skate, like, I think I looked at it one day, and it was like a mile and a half from my house to the park where the skate park was, and I used to walk there every day, skate for an hour or two, and then walk home or skate home. It was kind of a combination of two. It just depended on where I was. Some of the streets were kind of trashed, and some of the sidewalks were good. Some of the streets were good to skate on. It just depended on where I was. And everybody was baffled because I used to be like, oh yeah, I'd walk from my house on the end of town. I never got a ride unless I just, absolutely needed one. Again, this is one of those games where the soundtrack is just my absolute favorite. A lot of old punk rock. And we need to complete challenges, but we have to talk to Mindy first before we can do that. one of the main premises, one of the main points of this game is that you need to stop by skate shops to do challenges to upgrade your stats, and upgrading your stats like you will help you get into the Tony Hawk's Pro Am, Tony Hawk's Pro Am, or the Am Jam. I'm sorry, whatever. You have to complete sponsor challenges to get into that, or they won't let you in. You have to complete all these challenges. But the main focus of this game is that you come out to California to basically, I think, pursue your dream as being a professional skater. And you run into Mindy and her group of friends, and these guys kind of live at this skate park. Oh yeah, you have a cell phone. This is about when like cell phones and smartphones and all that shit was starting to get big. But Mindy basically takes you to meet all of her friends to teach you some different tricks, like the caveman's kind of a new trick. Ah, crap. And you run into this guy who was like an old school skater. He's living off the grid, and you will actually you're gonna spend time doing challenges. All the challenges you do are for pieces for this skate wrench, which we'll get to that later. Do I still have like perfect balance on? I feel like I do. But we're gonna collect pieces for the skate wrench and build this really badass skate park, and we're gonna become a pro or an amateur, I believe. I haven't played this game for so long. I actually just bought a Wii just to play some GameCube games, because there were some, like, I think I already had American Wasteland, but I bought Underground. I really need to buy Underground too. Oh yeah, they want us to kickflip Ben Hoofleck, which is Ben Affleck. And oh yeah, some Dead Kennedys, if you're into that kind of thing. I love the Dead Kennedys. I love damn near this whole soundtrack. It's probably one of my favorites. I mean, I just can't reiterate that enough. You know, that it's just, I love it. Anyway, so we need to kickflip over this D-bag. And, come on. Once it starts to curve, it's like, you know, you have to jump at the right time. I kind of dinked around playing this for a little bit, and golly, you have to jump at the right time and kickflip out over Ben Affleck, Hoofleck. I'm sorry. I'm sure we probably shouldn't say Ben Affleck. There we go. Got it. Some of the other things. So, like, I'm skating a Baker board. They don't have the board that I rode. I rode normally in high school. Watch me manual. I love some of the ways these guys talk in here. It's hilarious. I rode a Black Label. Oh golly, I can't remember. Every time I've gotten back on the board, I've always had a Black Label. I've had the same Black Label now for like a year or two, and I've always skated Black Label except for the very first like really good skateboard I ever bought, because I skated Walmart boards before I ever got a good board. My dad, like, I remember that Christmas, my dad bought me. If I remember right, I think my dad bought me the first Christmas after I got into skateboarding. I got a new pair of shoes. And they were Globe Chet Thomases. I'll never forget it, because they were like one of the best shoes I ever had. And then the next Christmas after that year, because I went like years, I just rode Walmart boards, or just whatever I had. So, anywho's. So I had a Black Label board, but the first board I ever owned was a Pop War. It was a Pop War. It was a deck that had like a gold, like like how do I describe this? It's like it was a gold like sheet over it, and then it had the white bottom of the board over that, and then the little Pop War bunnies. And then it had but the gold sheet like flaked off, which I thought was kind of crazy. But that board was actually super sturdy. And golly, when I ended up cracking it and then breaking it eventually, I think I ended up breaking the nose off of it. Oh god, I was so upset. Oh yeah? Are you gonna get your 2 cents in about skateboarding that you don't know anything about because you've never skateboarded a day in your life because you're only 6 months old? Daddy's gonna get you on a skateboard. Don't worry, Bubba. All right, so we have to revert to manual. Like this is kind of hard. Doe? Golly, that was awesome. But yeah, that Pop War board, that thing, I loved it. But then I ended up getting a Black Label, and I just fell in love with them. And that ended up being like one of my favorite companies. Now there's all these board companies that are coming out with their designs or their board construction has gotten better. Like there's a couple of them, like Real has a different board construction that's coming. It's like a heavier duty. It's like a heavier duty, a little sturdier board. Real has one. Santa Cruz has one that's kind of like that, where it's like there's all these little cross hatches running one way, and then there are a couple more plies of wood, and then there's cross hatches running the other way, and then the rest of your plies of wood. It's kind of neat looking. Maybe I'll put a picture of it up just so you guys can see it. It's pretty cool looking. We got to beat this butthole and then get my stuff back. Yeah, I definitely have perfect balance on. I still had the save file from this whole thing on my Gamecube cards, which was kind of neat. But yeah, we got to beat this dude at skate. Christ Air. I love that trick, even though I could never do it. I wasn't like the greatest skater, but I mean, for the stuff I could do, because I mean, I kind of did like some old school stuff, but then I would kind of try to invent some of my own stuff. That's the greatest thing about skating is like, not everybody, damn it, not everybody skates the same. Everybody has different tricks that they've just put together, and different ways to do things. I mean, I've seen just people do just crazy stuff. I mean, I wish I could think of like the craziest thing I ever saw on a skateboard. I can't think of it right now. I can think of the craziest thing I saw on a bike though. So like the first couple of days after the skate park opened, and I wish my buddy Jimmy was here because we could tell you. So me and my buddy Jimmy, like, we went to the park every day for a week after it opened, right? I gotta hit this dude with my board, and this is why I'm just gonna chase him. Oh wait, no wait. I bet if I stayed in one spot, because I think he does the same line around me. Yeah, he does. Okay. Me and my buddy Jimmy, we were at the park like every day for the first week it opened. Like we were still skateboarding, or I mean skateboarding. Wow, yeah, we were definitely still skateboarding. This is just when we started getting started. We were still playing football, but we took that was like a week after the last game and all this other BS. Well, we like took off for the whole week. We were supposed to be in weights. I think we went to weights like 1 or 2 days that week, and then we took the rest of the week off and just skated the whole week. It was awesome. And then we found out our coach was like super pissed because he ended up blaming one of our other friends who quit. He blamed one of our other friends and said that it was his fault that we were at the park every day instead of in weights. And we're like, no, we just had things we like to prioritize. Hold on, buddy. All right, time out. I gotta go grab him. All right, I'm gonna be holding the little one for the rest of this episode. So Mindy tells you she's gonna put together American Wasteland, which is supposed to be this gnarly skate park that she's got mapped out. You know, we're gonna have to get pieces for it. And you gonna talk? No, don't hit Daddy's mic. You wanna talk? I want to get my son. I want to get him on a board so bad. Like I can't wait for him to get older because I'm just like, oh excuse me. I'm hoping he's into all this cool gnarly. I'm gonna say gnarly so much that was just. I want to say that was just how we talked back then, but it really kind of wasn't. I mean, we kind of said stuff like that, but then, you know, like my favorite thing was when we were skating. Like sometimes your board gets away from you, right, and then like it'll plow into a ramp, or it'll hit something, or it'll hit a box. You know, when you're trying to do some grinds, and you know, it'll chip the board out. And our favorite thing was that whenever it would chip the board or something. Like some people, you know, everyone's pretty cool about trying to stop your board or pick your board up to give it back to you or something, you know, and, you know, everyone was pretty cool about it. There were some people that were douchebags. Like, the people that were douchebags, like, were kind of unanimously hated, which was awesome. But every time, like, your board, like, if you chip the nose or something out, you know, the first thing anybody would say, they'd hand it back to you and they'd just be like, oh, it'll buff out. Which is my favorite. Like that, I still kind of use that anytime something I see break or get scratched or something. I tell, holy shit, did my dude just have white hair for a minute? Like that was kind of cool. But you know, my favorite thing now, I do that. I'm like, oh, it'll buff out. It's cool. I'm going down. I never could ride half pipes like this. Not even mini ones. You know, there were a couple of cool parks. When I got older and got closer to being out of skateboarding, there was this park that opened up around like an hour or so from where I lived. It was under an overpass, and it was an awesome park. It was cool. Me and my buddy Jimmy went and skated it. Man, it was awesome. It was like, man, because you know, if it was raining that day, it's like you could still skate. Because you were covered, and it was cool. It was a nice little park. They definitely put a lot of good money into it. It had three bowls. There was like a beginner bowl, a medium bowl, and then a huge bowl. And I got in the huge one. Like I didn't drop into it. I just kind of jumped in to see what it was like, and then I was like, oh my god, I'm never gonna get out of here. I had to like run up the wall as much as I could, and this is about the time I started being out of shape. So it was a pain in the butt to get out, but I got out. Like, God, it sucked. I was like, I'm gonna stay out of this one. I got in the beginner bowl and skated it for a little bit, and that was a lot of fun. I just like got in there and did some kick turns. I didn't do anything crazy. Anywho, so we're gonna stop here, and next episode we'll keep on going. Like I said, we're just gonna be just doing a lot of the challenges, progressing the story. It's just gonna be like skating around like normal. Well, I say like normal. You know, if I could just run around and just do tricks at a whim, you know, this is kind of how I would hope it would be. But anyway, we're gonna stop right here. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Later.